BBC News with Fiona MacDonald. The US has announced it will begin sharing its supplies of AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine with other countries once a safety review is complete. Up to 60 million doses could be exported within months. Neighbours Canada and Mexico are among dozens of countries interested. Neda Tawfiq reports.
The White House COVID-19 coordinator said the U.S. had a strong collection of vaccines and would not need AstraZeneca's during the next several months. The Biden administration will donate its supply once it's approved by the Food and Drug Administration to countries in need. The decision comes as the administration faces criticism that it is hoarding jabs. There are currently 10 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine available, and a further 50 million doses are in production. In addition, the administration plans to share raw materials for production of the vaccine with India.
The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has urged Ethiopia to address what he called an impending disaster in the Tigray region. In a phone call with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, he said troops from Eritrea should be withdrawn immediately and fully, alleging that both they and Ethiopian forces were violating rights in Tigray. Ned Price is the State Department spokesman.
We are gravely concerned about the deteriorating humanitarian crisis in Tigray and the reports of human rights abuses, violations, and atrocities that have emanated from there. This administration has encouraged international partners, including the AU and regional partners, to work with us to address the crisis in Tigray, including through action at the UN and other relevant bodies.
The US population has grown at its slowest rate since the 1930s, according to the Census Bureau after this year's head count. 331.5 million lived in the US in April 2020, a 7.4% rise over the decade, the second smallest increase in American history. The changes will have political ramifications as Bureau grants extra congressional seats to be more populated areas, including some Republican-leaning states. The US Vice President Kamala Harris has held a virtual meeting with the Guatemalan President Alejandro Yamatei to discuss how to reduce the number of Guatemalans attempting to cross into the US. Ms. Harris said Washington wanted to tackle the root causes of migration.
We are looking at the issue of poverty and the lack, therefore, of economic opportunities, the issue of extreme weather conditions and the lack of climate adaptation, as well as corruption and the lack of good governance, and violence against women, Indigenous people, LGBTQ people, and Afro-descendants.
President Yamatei said that he agreed about the need to create hope. World News from the BBC. Spain's maritime authority says 17 people have been found dead on a boat west of the Canary Islands. 3 survivors were airlifted from the vessel. On board were sub-Saharan Africans trying to reach Europe. The journey is dangerous with notoriously strong currents, but has been taken by more people after an increase in patrols reduced crossings in the Mediterranean. A new study on miscarriage has estimated that at least 23 million miscarriages occur every year worldwide, though the actual tally is likely to be substantially higher. The research, published in The Lancet, analysed data from more than 4 million pregnancies in 7 countries, including Sweden, the US and Britain. Tulip Mazumdar reports.
Around 1 in 7 pregnancies end in miscarriage, according to this new analysis, and around 1 in 100 women suffer 3 or more losses in a row. The researchers found black women were 43% more likely to lose a pregnancy and say further studies are needed to establish why. Scientists are looking into whether it could be related to other health issues that more commonly affect black women, such as fibroid conditions and autoimmune disorders. Having a miscarriage can also take a massive psychological toll, doubling the risk of depression and almost quadrupling the risk of suicide.
The UN has warned that the slow implementation of the peace accord in South Sudan is putting the country at risk of a return to large-scale conflict. A new report has recommended that the arms embargo be extended and for new sanctions against those who hinder the implementation of the peace deal. The electric car maker Tesla has posted record quarterly profits, its revenue rising around 74% on the same period last year. Its strong performance has been driven by sustained demand in China and elsewhere, and by its decision to invest in Bitcoin. BBC News.